Let me tell you about two guys. We'll call them Alex and Jason. They graduated from the same university in 2011 with the same degree. They started their careers in the same city, earned almost identical salaries, got married around the same time, and now both have kids. On paper, their lives look nearly identical, but there's one major difference. Alex drives a brand new pickup truck with a monthly payment just over $1,000. Jason drives a 5-year-old Toyota Camry he bought, used, and paid off years ago. Today, Alex has about $20,000 saved for retirement. Jason has over $300,000. Same career, same income, same starting point. Different car. And that single decision has quietly changed the course of their financial lives. I'm Alex, and today we're talking about what I call the new car trap. Not just why new cars cost more, not just depreciation, but the entire system designed to convince ordinary people to spend extraordinary amounts of money on transportation. Because the car sitting in your driveway might be costing you far more than you think. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why. Let's start with a simple question. When did cars become this expensive? A couple decades ago, buying a new vehicle was a major purchase, but it wasn't life-changing. Today, the average new vehicle costs around $50,000. That's the average, not luxury, not exotic, average. And if you're shopping for a truck or large SUV, prices can easily climb into the $60,000 to $80,000 range. Yet somehow people keep buying them. How? The answer is surprisingly simple: longer loans. Years ago, most car loans lasted 3 or 4 years. Today, 6, 7, and even 8-year loans have become normal. Think about that for a second. People are making payments on vehicles longer than some people stay married. The reason is obvious. Longer loans create lower monthly payments. A vehicle that feels impossible at $1,200 per month suddenly feels manageable at $850. The total cost goes up dramatically, but most buyers never focus on the total cost. They focus on the monthly payment. And dealerships know it. That's why one of the first questions you'll hear is, what monthly payment are you comfortable with? Not, what total price can you afford? Not, what does this vehicle cost over time? Just the monthly payment. Because once buyers focus on the monthly number, the dealership can adjust everything else. Longer term, higher price, additional fees, extended warranties. The monthly payment stays comfortable while the actual cost quietly explodes. But even that's not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is depreciation. Imagine buying a $50,000 vehicle today. The moment you drive it off the lot, it's worth less than what you paid. Not next year, not next month, immediately. It's one of the few purchases in life that loses value before you even get home. 5 years later, that vehicle might be worth $30,000. Maybe less. In other words, you've lost $20,000 simply through ownership. And that's before insurance, before fuel, before maintenance, before interest. The scary part is that most people don't notice because depreciation doesn't arrive as a bill. Nobody sends you an invoice saying, "Congratulations, your truck just lost another $4,000 this year." It happens quietly, in the background, like a leak in a water pipe. Small enough to ignore, big enough to destroy your finances over time. Now, let's talk about something even more dangerous. Negative equity. This is where things start getting ugly. Imagine you buy a new vehicle. A few years later, you still owe $35,000 on the loan, but the vehicle is only worth $28,000. You're underwater. You owe more than the vehicle is worth. Most people assume that's the moment you stop and fix the problem. But that's not what happens. Instead, many buyers trade the vehicle in. The dealership rolls the difference into a brand new loan. Now you're paying for a vehicle you no longer own while simultaneously financing another one. It's financial quicksand. The harder you struggle, the deeper you sink. And because monthly payments are spread over longer and longer periods, many buyers don't even realize it's happening. They simply focus on whether they can make next month's payment. But here's the part that fascinates me most. Cars aren't really transportation anymore. They're identity. Think about the advertisements, the truck climbing mountains, the luxury SUV parked outside a beautiful modern home. The sports car flying down an empty coastal highway, they're not selling transportation. They're selling status, adventure, success, confidence. The message is always the same. Buy this vehicle and become this person. And it works because people rarely justify expensive cars with math. They justify them with emotion. The truck isn't just a truck. It's proof that you've made it. The luxury SUV isn't just transportation. It's a reward for working hard. The sports car isn't just a vehicle. It's a symbol of success. Unfortunately, symbols are expensive, and those symbols often cost decades of wealth creation. Let's go back to Alex and Jason. Remember the difference between their payments? Roughly $500 per month. Now imagine Jason invests that $500 every month. Nothing fancy. Just a simple index fund. After 10 years, that money grows into a substantial portfolio. After 20 years, it becomes life-changing. After 30 years, it can become the difference between retiring comfortably and working into your 70s. That's the part people miss. The real cost of a vehicle isn't the payment. It's the opportunity cost. It's what that money could have become if invested instead. Every dollar spent on a depreciating asset is a dollar that isn't compounding. And compounding is one of the most powerful forces in personal finance. This doesn't mean you should drive a 20-year-old rust bucket held together by duct tape. Reliable transportation matters. Safety matters. Comfort matters. But there's a huge difference between buying a reliable vehicle and financing an expensive lifestyle. The goal isn't to buy the cheapest car possible. The goal is to avoid turning transportation into a financial burden. Because every extra dollar going toward a vehicle is a dollar that can't build your future. And that's where most people get stuck. They spend so much money looking successful that they never actually become successful. From the outside, the new truck looks impressive. The luxury SUV turns heads. The leather seats smell amazing. But none of those things create wealth. Assets create wealth. Investments create wealth. Time creates wealth. A vehicle simply moves you from one location to another. The irony is that truly wealthy people often understand this better than anyone. They don't see cars as status symbols. They see them as tools. And tools have one job: get the work done efficiently. Look, if you genuinely love cars and they're your passion, that's completely fine. Everyone spends money on something. The problem begins when people mistake a vehicle for an investment. Or worse, when they sacrifice their future to impress people who aren't paying attention anyway. Because 10 years from now, nobody will remember what you drove. But you'll definitely remember whether you built financial freedom. So before signing that loan agreement, ask yourself one question. Are you buying transportation? Or are you buying an identity? Because one of those choices gets you where you need to go. The other one might keep you working decades longer than necessary. And that difference can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Maybe even more.